They say I'm crazy, Janice. Crazy. Hello, everyone. My name is Tubasa, and today is Dreamlog 3. I was having so much fun in the previous one that I decided to do another one. Yay! You see, I recorded about 15 minutes of the video and slowly realized I don't remember a lot of these dreams. Now, I'm going to quickly give one in a second, but with that being said, I am going to skip a lot of them. That way, the video isn't filled with just a bunch of random words and filler. Especially if I can't elaborate on them, I don't think it's really worth it. With that being said, we will now continue with dreams I remember, or at least have written a lot of detail about, because I feel like those are the more interesting ones. One to get out of the way that I talked about out of that entire list that I read for 15 minutes was there was this place that was an airport slash hotel, I believe. And it was very nice, really tall building made out of pieces of lumber that are like compressed together structurally for the building, and then in between each stud, if you will, there was glass panels, and on the ground was very nice and lush greenery. There was a road between basically two of these buildings, and there was a bridge connecting them off in the distance, and there were escalators. Very clean, open space, like a lot of space, like way too much space, liminal like space. But I saw a couple people there, and in that dream, I finally got to the hotel area where it was a little, more sizable. And I remember being at the bottom, out where all the pools and stuff are, and looking up at this one circular balcony that was just kind of like a main public balcony that people could go on. And I, for some reason, saw myself up there, and I saw myself fall off and land on my head on some concrete steps. And I just remember seeing the blood, and I was like, what the hell? Anyway, that was the one I wanted to get out of the way. With that being said, I kept reading my list, and I found this one that has a lot of detail, but I have no recollection of. But I do feel like it builds a little bit of a story. There is some interesting things in here that my mind comes up with just as story pieces from these dreams. It says that there's this competition of sorts in the water at a beach with a party. One of the best players was there, and I got DQ'd or disqualified off the bat. One day, I had a cat go outside and it got lost in a hole. I saved him, but the tapeworm plant was growing quick, so we needed to stop it. I saw one of my friends that was hanging out at that party. We went to the penthouse that was owned by my dad. A piece of scum rented my dad's place out, and this nice girl who didn't want trouble was constantly ending up having intercourse with the scum. My sister and I are the girl's that girl's friend, and we care for her. The girl is beautiful, and the solution for the scum to not basically, have his way with that girl is for her to get with my dad. I don't know why that's gross. That's weird. Oh, but we won, at the end of the day, and the scum was gone. We then discussed the modifications to that penthouse, because dear God, we don't want that to ever be the same. With the grumpy man, tried to get back into that water competition one more time, and I got second. Still don't know what I did, so I just jumped into the pool. Since it was water competition, I woke up. Again, don't remember any of this, but it was a long, detailed dream. Next one. This one looks like a long one, too. Holy crap. I was at Callie's house, and it was like an old farmhouse made out of dark wood where Callie is playing Apex as Octane, which she never would in real life. She plays Wraith, running through the wild area in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Other friends are there too, maybe from OVP. She gets off, and I say I got to go, but I forget something, and so I turn around and try to fit into this small hole. While doing so, Callie and the other two get in a car. I try to talk to Callie, but she's not listening. I grabbed what I needed and was sad. I then appeared at the foot of an enemy bunker. I was the Spider-Man that was black and yellow, that had mechanical arms that came out and helped climb up walls. That's sick. The first room was clear with the entire Spider-Man squad. Cleared my own room that took a while, and then I had to escape because of one guy who hated me with a passion for something I indirectly didn't do to him. He tried to stab me, but I escaped through the hole of a roof. I then pulled up to see Girl Venom in mid-transformation. I then body swapped with Girl Venom and tore out the black latex like wrapping to become Venom. Then I started to go through a different room with more obstacles than enemies. I then awoke. Let's see. This one right here says hidden files of Minecraft that contained a whole other game called Time and Space, dark lore, and 32-bit art style with realistic mask-like faces. Example would be Axiom Verge and Dendara. Protagonist is actually bad after going through files of pictures from the game's backdoor website. That sounds pretty cool. That's like a little, twist. You're actually the bad guy. Let's see here. Oh my god. Wait, let's see. All right, I'm going to read this one because it sounds so funny. Just out of context. Get ready for this one. Injecting the 10 Commandments into my body to become the perfect life form. What? Why? Why? I don't know. I'm like Cars, I guess, from JoJo. Anyway, this one I do remember. The sentence that I have for it is poisonous octopus on Rocky Island and getting guns from Will Smith's house. So, I wake on this beach. And on this beach, there's actually these giant rock forms with a bunch of, like seaweed, crustaceans, and everything. It's like the sea level went down. And I wake up, and my boat is just like covered in sand. And it's dusty, and I'm like, I need to get up. Because as I do that, I look behind me, and there's this octopus that's like blending in with the color of sand, and it's starting to crawl toward me. And I'm like, oh shit, I need to run. So I start booking it towards the arch that this giant rock formation makes. And I keep going, run underneath it. It's very nice and cool because of the shadow, yada, yada, yada. And then I get out from the other side, and I make a left kind of to the side of another large rock. And there I see a hidden door by chance, and I open it up. And inside it's like this super smooth chrome, everything, super futuristic. And apparently it's Will Smith's like safe with guns. I don't know. I grab it's like Men in Black. I grab some of the guns and I start going back towards this octopus that was chasing me. And I look at it, I start shooting at it, and it just doesn't take any damage. And then I awoke before I got touched by the octopus. So, yeah, it was a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. This next dream is a little bit of a paragraph, and this is when I actually start breaking them into paragraphs, which is great because now I know when one starts and one ends. I said, in this dream, I killed a girl with a nice smile by throwing her over my head at this dining hall. I then went to a strange building with a play place to talk to two friends of mine about it. We walked down the neighborhood roads and then got chased by a guy, transported to the Uncanny room for a second time. Yes, and this is what I wanted to get into about the Uncanny room. I had this dream not too long ago, and that actually was a long time ago. I had this dream a long time ago, and I don't know when it started, but all that I can tell you is that I was scared when I woke up. The dream was I went into this room, and it was a square room. There was no windows. It was only the door I came in. That was, if we're drawing a square like this, was right here. So there was only a door right here that would open and close, and I go in. Across from that room, there's a TV, and in the other corner, there's this old musty chair, and it's like a sofa chair. It's like supposed to be really nice when it's brand new, but it's all deteriorated. On the TV, there's just static, and the light from one of there is a lamp in the other corner of that room, and it's just emitting this yellow, gross light. The walls are all in wallpaper, and they're all green with like this, little eccentric vertical line design. The bottom of the room, obviously, in white trim that was decaying. I don't know what it is about that room, and with that TV static going off, but I could see something, and it came from the corner of the sofa, and it was this ghastly figure of a woman, her eyes staring, frightened almost, in shock. She was burnt to a crisp almost in her ghastly form. I don't know what it was, but when I woke up, I was scared. I have no clue what happened. And the interesting thing is it wasn't the first time it was going to happen, because it happened a second time. I ended up in that same uncanny room. The same woman staring at me. Her body was elongated and stretched just barely enough so you could see the whites of her eyes around that sofa. There was such a dark shadow in that room, and I don't know why I came across it twice. With that being said, I'm going to end today's video and probably make another one. So, I'll see you guys later. Peace.